Let's bring in our panel now. Former Sheriff of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and a Newsmax contributor, David Clarke. Great to have you in, Sheriff Clarke. What a day we're watching unfold here. Top line, your thoughts as we see the Democrats just decide that they just don't want to. They don't want to have a trial. They're going to let Mayorkas, who's apparently okay to lie under oath and architect the open border, just go here unscathed.
Yes, these failed policies by the Biden administration go on unabated. It's costing Americans not only money in terms of billions of dollars, but also their lives. In the case not only of Lake and Riley, but others who've been victimized by people who shouldn't be in the country. Look at the border. When Biden lifted the Remain in Mexico policy that was put in place by Trump that opened the floodgates, for heaven's sakes. And then you have people who are exploiting our asylum laws. You can't come to the United States just because you're declaring yourself a hardship or you want a better life. Then you have to go through the citizenship process to do that. These people that are coming in, it is estimated that in 2022, 7 to 8 million illegal immigrants were let into this country. And that doesn't include the ones that we don't know about. So the Remain in Mexico policy was huge. And then you look at the cost. It cost American taxpayers $161 billion a year for this illegal immigration into the United States in terms of housing, feeding them, health care, schools, and crime. So, there's a number of things that everybody can do that aren't being done. Everybody is a political football right now. The only way this is going to change is a change in administration after November.
Right. Well, and it clearly is not being done right now as we watch the Senate there, making its move here under Schumer. You talked about the impact to taxpayers. Denver slashing its budget. They're cutting back police because of the amount of money it costs to house migrants, to take care of migrants. So if the solution is a change in leadership, again, we'll have to wait until November, Sheriff Clarke. But until then, the vulnerabilities, the exposure, Lake and Riley, her family now knowing that the person who is charged with killing their beautiful young daughter was just let go because of overcapacity. I don't think anyone here in this country no longer can stand for what we're seeing under this president. And even though they don't maybe have impeachment of Mayorkas, your final thoughts on what people will be doing and the message Joe Biden and his administration should be getting.
Yeah, unfortunately, Lake and Riley, she's the new face of this problem. Remember Kate Steinle back in San Francisco in 2016, who was killed by a guy who was illegal, alien, and also he had been deported several times. There's also failure by the local and state people, too, who had that guy in custody. The guy that killed Lake and Riley had him in custody, I think it was for shoplifting, let him go because they don't have any bail policies, and they refused to work with ICE. They should have notified ICE. ICE would have taken that guy into custody, and he would have been in custody at the time that he killed Lake and Riley. So the state, the feds, and the local communities all have their blood on their hands over this kind of stuff. The 287G program by law enforcement, which we belonged to when I was the sheriff, we immediately notified ICE anytime we had a suspected individual who wasn't in the country legally, and then they took him over from there, and that's not happening. Matter of fact, some states forbid, New York, Minnesota, forbid their local law enforcement from working with ICE.
That is appalling. Sheriff Clarke, obviously we got to get back to that law enforcement and law and order in our country here. We've fallen into a very dangerous place. I appreciate your comments today on this historic day on Capitol Hill. Sheriff David Clarke, thank you.
My pleasure.